And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 11th episode of Blockchain Talk. Today's subject will be about inheritances. With inheritances, I naturally want to discuss a little bit the topic about the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency you have bought and earned, etc. And, what to do with it future-wise, because there's a lot of people who are actually accumulating different cryptocurrencies, but don't really have some kind of contingency plan in action. With that, I mean, in case of sudden passing, an accident can always happen. It can be that you donated some Bitcoin to, let's say, parrain, your godfather or something like it, and he keeps it idle in his wallet, but if he should pass on, the bitcoins will be lost because there's no private key that can be recovered. So that's topic I want to discuss and how to arm yourself, give a few tips. However, before I start, I want to take a small look at the current state of the market. So I'm going to stream here. So I don't like all the white stuff. There we go. So I'm going to refresh it. It's been open for a while. So everything here turning green. However, Bitcoin was a little bit in a down period in the last, dare I say, 2 days or something, with a little uptick. Seeing the entire market follows Bitcoin, it's entirely good news. I only need to analyze Bitcoin. However, little update here on Ethereum. Today is going to be the day that EIP, the London fork, is going to be released, which will actually imply a triple halving, like some Ethereum community members will say. It implies that the mining rewards will be halved. How much? Not in half, but a triple halving. About 1/10 of the rewards remain. Due to the sudden uptick here, as you can clearly see, there's a higher percentage of gains in the last 7 days for Ethereum. Much has to do with, what I dare say, some of the flaws of Ethereum, mainly high gas fees as soon as, the value of Ethereum starts to rise. A lot of traders actually holding small amounts of Ethereum, which cannot be moved by reason, the gas fees being too high, which is a general trend during a bullish market when the entire market is in uptick. Many people buying Ethereum, but too small amounts to be transacted towards private hardware wallets, which implies there's some scarcity going on the market because, small amounts of Ethereum being locked, while at the same time, there's a higher demand, so it skyrockets tremendously. The problem with the gas fees isn't going to be fixed by the EIP 1559 or the London fork, which will occur later on today. But yeah, that little bit explains here why Ethereum has seen some higher gains than Bitcoin. However, like I said, I wanted to analyze the market a little bit. Currently at 39,000 at average dollars in value. 24-hour trend line, we see here it has been for some time been circulating in the 38 to the 38,500 range, few ticks, and suddenly an upheaval towards, let's just say the 39,500 levels. If we look at it over a 7-day period, come on, it wants to. We had an increase towards the 42,000, which was, quite nice to have finally occurred. Some positive news, but immediately started crashing down. A lot of speculation going on where it concerns the market. With that, I mean, what has driven the price up high? Might it be some additional speculation, some rekindled hope? Might be, but perhaps a bearish trap, people selling off. Something which I more or less expected when it reached above the 40K level. For some time, people taking profits and pushing it downwards towards the 38,000 level. However, what I dare say is here, decent support once again at 38,000. What I did notice in the last couple of days, let's say even from last week, where I said, well, I dare only to speak once again of a bullish market as soon as Bitcoin, well, remains trading above the 40K level for a consistent period of time, and I gave indications 33 or even 45,000 USD dollars in value. And at that point, well, what can I say here? It didn't occur. We are still within range trading. We are still going sideways. If I take TradingView last 90 days, there was a long period of consolidation here that we didn't seem to reach above the 35,000 level, apart from suddenly here. I'm not mistaken, that was when the conference of the B word occurred. And well, like I said, last couple of weeks we are going sideways. Are we back in a bull run? Are we having a second leg up? Who knows? Who knows? I'm not entirely sure. However, what I dare say is that, well, Ethereum might be leading the market at this point in time, and not entirely Bitcoin, which is a little bit of a reversal. And despite the dominance it has on the market currently, much having to do with the aforementioned London hard fork, or the EIP 1559. Yes, sorry. Having difficulties today with pronouncing my English. Anyway, so yeah, we're back at the 39,500 level. Might see an increase once again to 40K. However, wouldn't be surprised on a little bit like the 7-day basis. We'll be seeing a little bit of a downtrend here, and that it's a local uptick. However, I'm not bullish, but I'm afraid we are still in the sideways trading range. However, as mentioned before, the London hard fork for Ethereum will occur between now and a couple of hours. The effects will only be noticeable within the forthcoming weeks, so it won't be an immediate, well, run or immediate takeover whereby Ethereum is deciding the trend line of the market. However, Bitcoin and Ethereum are quite closely interrelated. I dare say, well, both will push the market a little bit up. We'll see how it plays out. However, am I bullish? Am I bearish? I'm going to say it still goes on sideways. For the traders, I dare say, don't put your hopes all too high up for the 40. Yeah, perhaps it might tick off the 40K level, but there's a more, well, better chance the market will be going down once again. However, why do I say this? Well, it has to do with a few articles that I've picked and chosen for you guys. So the analysts say Bitcoin accumulation in play similar to mid-2018. I don't know if accumulation is in play. I'm not going to let you read all the details here. You can look it up. On screen is, I hope it's, yeah, okay. It's being shown on screen. Sorry. On screen is being shown the web address. You can give it in. There's a little bit, well, this from Glassnode, and they say, look, there is an accumulation phase going on here. We are about here. They expect it to rise once again. They also say miners mainly are accumulating, so it's not institutional investors, and exchanges are shedding weight. So it implies there's an enormous amount of outflow from the exchanges towards, well, wallets from the miners, as well as, well, the private investors like me and you. Nickel price outlook. Now press was still retreating down further, blah, blah, blah. So in here they mention, yeah, is it a bearish relief rally, or can it be the next leg up for the bull run? To be honest, I do not have a fair indication. The market is more or less boring. There are no decent pointers, except if you are going to do an entire technical analysis. I'm thinking we're still going sideways, though I would love to see the trend go upward. Despite that, I'm assuming the range once again is narrowing down in trading. So like last month, approximately in previous episodes, I said, yeah, you can see that at average, the low is in an uptick. So the under range isn't anymore 30k, but it was going up towards 31, 32. Something might occur right now as we've been hitting around the 40k, and some decent support has been made around the 38,000 zone. I expect to be, well, the major line of resistance around the 35,000 level, but before we get it needs to break 38,000, etc., etc. So that's that. Close this one. SX comments give BTC price boost of 2%. Well, that's mostly for institutional investors. I read the article a little bit, and much ado about nothing, I dare say. The article says, yeah, it's the SEC influencing a little bit of price due to positive regulations, etc., etc. But it's really non-news. It didn't even give a blip on my technical analysis and the news scoring I generally do. So might be some opinionated thing, nothing really related. Now, this one's an interesting one. 3 reasons why Bitcoin can slowly explode to a new 50k to 65,000 k range, 65k range. Well, mainly from Willy Woo. Well, he actually rehashes the things I am keeping in mind here. Well, they say there's the supply crunch, so demand keeps on increasing. Tesla, Elon Musk, who said, yeah, we will probably be accepting Bitcoin once again as a form of payment. Not all too surprising considering the current price, and they bought in at around the 30k zone, so they will be making a profit. Also, the previous article that I mentioned, there was some decent accumulation going on, which implies there's a high demand and less supply available. So that's pushing up price upwards. This is another factor, minus return. Most of you probably know that China has been doing a crackdown on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin mining. The China ban, well, the invoked China ban made a bigger part of mining pools and data centers closed down, all related to cryptocurrency, whereby the hash rate of Bitcoin fell down tremendously. However, now the ban is still, well, present, I'm going to say. But the miners have been moving and been changing locations. Also, one by one, a variety of mining pools are once again being re-established, being relaunched. So it's once again gaining some hash rate, some decent security. This in itself, well, in most of my episodes, I say that the hash rate isn't necessarily tied to the value of Bitcoin. However, the hash rate does give a certain amount of trust to Bitcoin, and it might, at this point in time, will have some influence on its value. By reason, well, the higher the hash rate, the more secure the blockchain is of Bitcoin, and well, the more secure it is, the more resistant against the influence of fraud, etc. So it gives a decent amount of trust, which is actually good news. And actually, it is a third one, whale activity spikes. Well, a lot of whales, so people holding a big amount of Bitcoin. I'm not talking about 5, 6, 7, but literal hundreds and thousands of Bitcoin, well, are accumulating, buying up. Good news, which implies there's going to be more scarcity on the market where it concerns Bitcoin, which implies its value will go up. So those are the 3 main, well, factors that might underline that Bitcoin might suddenly jump towards a 50k, towards 65,000 range, trading range level. So to rehearse, accumulation, what was it again? Sorry, I'm very bad at this. You can see I'm not reading it from a card here. Well, reading it from the article. The supply crunch, that was it. So accumulation, scarcity, and, well, the return of the miners. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to do a quick checkup here just to see it's evolving. It seems to be a little trick. I'm going to put it here. And it seems there's going to be another small leg up here. Anyway, what I do wanted to talk about was inheritance. Probably not immediately the right episode for here, but I'll answer your question, Abu Future Trunks. What are your thoughts on KSM, worth buying one coin? Well, KSM or Kasuma is actually the testnet from Polkadot. Myself, I'm not invested in Kusuma. More of, well, I am more or less awaiting launch for Polkadot, the full mainnet development, etc., etc., because I know Polkadot has a bright future with the Web 3.0 in mind. Kusuma, on the other hand, well, it's the testnet. It's going to have more volatility than Polkadot itself, if I'm not mistaken. I'd say invest in it. By reason, in the future, its value will be tied with that of Polkadot itself. And myself, I'm quite bullish on Polkadot. So I dare say, yeah, it can be worth buying one coin. You never know where it will go to. That's my advice. But yeah, I want to add up with Bio, so do your own research where it concerns that part. However, I'm very positive about Kusuma and, well, its ties to Polkadot. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about once again was inheritance. Sorry for the noise. That's water flow and people doing walks. Anyway, inheritance. A lot of people are in the crypto sphere, well, where to accumulate wealth. They get into it to become rich. I'm going to be honest. That was my main motivation when I started researching Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. By reason, well, my real early beginnings were somewhere 2013, 2014. I had a mate back at university who was a little bit involved with Bitcoin, not as a developer, but mainly as someone who had discovered it and was learning himself about cryptocurrencies. And, well, he was a little bit of a nerd, really. And myself being a good-hearted guy, well, I listened to him, was vaguely interested, but he brought it in such a way that was like, yeah, I understand what you're talking about, but not interested. And my own research really came during the during the first big bull, and with that I mean that it value increased from few thousand up to 20K. And it was only at that point in time where I said, I'm going to research this thing. And I actually did, and it was only after the bull run that I made my very first investment. I bought for about 100 euros of Bitcoin and stored it somewhere on Coinbase. Since that day on, I've been studying, learning more and more about cryptocurrency, etc., etc. However, during all those years, I noticed, well, apart from people losing the private keys to their wallets, I've got to be honest myself. Earlier on this year, I have the same problem with a Coinbase wallet. It's protected by a secured password, and I can't for the life of me remember the password. So about 1,600 euros in Bitcoin lost, where its value was somewhere, was it? I believe it was somewhere February or March. So it might be worth a lot more at this point in time. So yeah, painful mistake. However, at that point, it made me think a little bit, and especially with the passing also of another Bitcoin giant. You all know who I'm talking about here. And, well, how to say, inheritance, because many people here are invested into cryptocurrency, such as myself, and really got motivated as soon as I became more independent. Bought my own house. Yeah, this is naturally my little man cave. It's a bit on the rough side, but yeah, there's an entire house around it, naturally. Those who regularly watch my episodes will have seen a few rooms. Bedroom upstairs, we call it a patio, but a veranda, etc., etc. But yeah, got an entire house we've gotten, etc. It was only at that point was like, yeah, I need to do something with my finances. I need to secure some assets. By reason, well, as soon as the plans came to buy a house, I was starting to think, well, I don't have all too much money. I need to secure some decent assets. So I started investing in gold and furthermore in cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency was something at a base which I already did, but it became much more serious when I well bought my house at the beginning of 2020. So there we have it. Now, like I said, inheritance. I'm really beating beating around here. Inheritance. So what I'm trying to say is, people lose their wallets, and some Bitcoin. Well, let's just say cryptocurrency can be lost in a variety of ways. Compromised wallets, losing passwords. I'm talking from own experience here. And naturally, well, wallets being lost. And wallets being lost can be done on a variety of levels. You can lose the hardware. It isn't that bad. You can, if you still have the private key, you can buy a new hardware wallet and, well, reinstate and get new access to your funds. However, dying, and this is a quite sensitive theme here, needs to be taken into account. And death and finance, well, it's something not all too many people think about, especially if you're from around my age or even younger, and you're in your 20s or early 30s. You're like, yeah, I'm still young. I can survive anything. If I get sick, I heal, etc., etc., etc. But in reality, the thing is, death can occur at any point in time. And it's, well, a sketchy thing. You need to have your stuff in order. And it doesn't matter if you say, yeah, but I'm a big time investor and I want to be rich, etc., etc. Next thing you know, you're riding your bicycle or you're driving a car, truck loses control, and bam, you're a goner. What happens to your cryptocurrency? What's happening with your finances? And I'm talking from experience here, by reason I've lost quite a few friends and family members in the last couple of years. And the same problem always occurs with your traditional fiat money. Banks will lock down your bank account. Even, well, if you have a partner, for example, if you're married, doesn't matter what, you have a shared account, well, banks will say, okay, we're closing the shared one down, but also your private ones and the one who came to pass, which implies you do not have access to your funds, but bills still need to be paid, you still need to have food on your table, etc., etc., etc. Then there's the matter of your assets, the distribution of everything you own. Myself, well, due to the deaths I encountered in the last couple of years from both friends and close family members, well, the thing is, there's always going to be discussion about, well, the distribution of the daily departed stuff. You might say, yeah, but we're a good family, good friends, etc. Distribute, no problem, no problem, no problem. But when there's money involved, banks get involved. And myself, I'm a little bit a man of honor. I've said it multiple times, and I'm going to share a little secret here. My girlfriend, she knows I have a contingency plan in case I should die. By reason, I have stored all my private keys to all my private wallets together with instructions to access my, well, all my crypto wallets, but also the exchanges where money is still present. By reason, should I die, suddenly die, due to illness, accident, doesn't matter how, she can access my cryptocurrency. By reason that I'm fairly certain, should one of the two of us die, all assets will be frozen. So I made a special document whereupon all my private keys are, whereupon all access points to the exchanges are present. And normally I shouldn't be sharing this on YouTube, but I did. I'm simply not going to tell where it's hidden. Only my girl knows. And even then, it's still locked under key through something of my thing and can only be accessed when I'm gone for longer than about a week. So I've got an entire contingency plan. You might call me crazy, but it exists, and well, you never know. I do trust her, but whatever. So I have an entire plan set up that she can access those funds by reason I want her to become the sole proprietor of my assets in case I die. I want her to leave my wealth by reason, well, at this point in time, I do not have any children, and the one I trust most, and well, I'm most convinced of doing something decent with my well assets and my wealth will be my girl. If I'm not there, I want to make sure I can still take care for her from beyond the grave. Now, I'm talking here about my girlfriend. You can say, yeah, but I want to do it for my parents. Same rules apply. If you have children, same rule applies. You need to have some kind of contingency plan. You need to secure your cryptocurrency, naturally, all for it, but you also need to have a backup plan in case things go down for you and that you will lose your life, that you at least can make sure that your assets and wealth can be transferred and remain in circulation on the blockchain, but can be transferred to the chosen ones in your family or your group of friends, whereby you say, I want you to have these assets for whatever reason, because we've been close friends for over 20 years, for example, or because you're my wife, or because you're my sons and daughters, whatever reason it is, you need to have that backup plan. By reason, well, blockchain technology is very secure, but also decentralized. There is no fallback net present. If something goes wrong, it's entirely on the own person's accord. With that, I mean it's your own personal responsibility. If you lose your Hot Wheel wallet, that's on you. There's no one who is going to bail you out. If you transfer your funds towards a scam project, that's your responsibility. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Suddenly some technical issues. I hope they won't continue. So where was I? Yeah, well, I was talking about inheritance, and yeah, I was mentioning that you need to have a contingency plan. You need to have well a backup plan. You need to be able to transfer your assets and well make sure there's some fair distribution going on of your cryptocurrency. By reason, okay, cryptocurrency gets most of its value from supply and demand. And Satoshi Nakamoto in the beginning said, well, look, every Bitcoin being lost or every seed being lost, any private key towards a wallet being lost, and which also implies that the funds therein are being made inaccessible for eternity, is actually some kind of donation towards the Bitcoin blockchain. Why a donation? Well, it implies those Bitcoin are out of the circulating supply, meaning there's less Bitcoin to go around for everyone, which means, well, it's a donation and will push up the value. If you die, you can say, yeah, but it's a donation towards the blockchain. However, what will occur is if too many people do so, a lot of Bitcoin is going to be lost. And you're actually thieving away your family members, friends, and inheritors of Bitcoin and decent value. And well, I want to make sure that all my assets and my wealth is distributed fairly, remains in circulation, and that people can enjoy from it, from the fruits of the labors I've done. And that's one of the reasons why inheritance isn't all too much spoken about, but is actually a very important aspect of it all. You need to think about it. I know you guys think I'm young, I'm healthy, I might be in my early 20s, early 30s, early 40s, early 50s, early 60s. I've got grandparents who became 80 years old, 90 years old, whatever. But you should think about securing your financial assets to make sure they remain in circulation and that those you are favorable of, those you want to help out, if you came to pass, make sure that it's transferable. It's not a matter of, yeah, I will think about it later on. No, you need to take that into account. It makes part of financial literacy. It makes part of financial knowledge, knowing where your wealth will be going as soon as you die. And it's a very dark theme here, so disclaimer: if you have suicidal thoughts, etc., contact someone, talk about it, how and why, find a solution. But yeah, that's a disclaimer for YouTube mostly. But you need to think about it. You need to make sure, well, that everything is secure. And you might be saying, yeah, but I like living on the edge and it's going to be a donation for the network, etc., etc. Don't. It's egoistical, and some might say and have a philosophy of, yeah, but I don't care about society, I'm an anarchist, etc. You're a dork, really, and no one will really care about you, whatever happens. But if you want to have some respect, some standing, if you want to be an upstanding man, think about it. Think about the people who you care about, and I'm fairly certain there are one or two at the very least where you say, look, if I happen to die here, I want everything to go towards them because they've been treating me fairly, they've done that. So inheritance with cryptocurrency, just do it, think about it, make up a plan whereby, well, your person of trust and interest can access your funds and keep it up. By reason, well, governments and banks will close down your bank accounts, will lay their hands on your, well, physical property, just to leverage taxes and say, yeah, but it's for the inheritance for family members, etc. Here in Belgium, it's quite renowned. If your bank accounts get closed, the one who inherits it will need to pay a fee, and that can be upward to 35% of anything that's being locked in the bank. With cryptocurrency, you actually got a voucher to do it one-on-one and consider it a donation. By reason, well, crypto regulations aren't all too tough currently. So profit from it, do it, think about it. Make sure you have a backup of your private key, such as myself, like I've done. leave instructions to the guys who come after you where you want your cryptocurrency and all your assets to go to. Make sure that you have it so they can, well, even if they are not knowledgeable about it, money is money and they can profit it in whatever way possible. I don't care if I came to pass and my girlfriend said, yeah, yeah, guys, sorry once again for the little break here. As you guys can see, I've quickly changed computer. What the hell is that here in the background? Anyway, I wanted to close the live stream here. Thanks all you guys for watching. Later on this evening, I will be doing the Crypto Bull live technical analysis. Well, it will be about the cryptocurrency project called Hex. I'll probably be doing it here on this computer by reason that my laptop is having technical issues. Made note of it yesterday, but doesn't seem to be decently resolved. So, guys, anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you got something good out of it, and until next time.